Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable John Casey Lee, Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, and other guests will now enter the venue. Please give them a warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the 23rd Hong Kong Forum, co-organized by the Federations of Hong Kong Business Associations Worldwide and the Hong Kong Trade Development Council. This forum is a celebration event of the 25th anniversary of the establishment of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Before we start, may I remind all participants of the followings. Today's sessions will be conducted in English. Simultaneous interpretation in Japanese and Putonghua will be provided. Please reach out to our colleagues for a headset if needed. For online participants, you may switch to your preferred language underneath the video screen. If you would like to pose any questions to our speakers during the Q&A, please scan the QR code in front of you to submit your questions. For online participants, you may send your questions through the Q&A box at the right side of your video screen. Selected questions will be addressed during Q&A towards the end of each session. A live networking event will also be held after speakers' presentation and sharing today at 6:15 for online participants to connect with other business participants. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite Mr. Hans Pollis, Chairman of the Federations of Hong Kong Business Associations Worldwide, to deliver his welcome remarks. Mr. Pollis, please.
Chief Executive, Peter, Margaret, Federation office holders, business association heads, fellow members, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the 23rd edition of the Hong Kong Forum, the annual flagship event of the Federation of Hong Kong Business Associations Worldwide, hosted by the Hong Kong Trade Development Council. It was 2019 when I last joined Hong Kong Forum physically. Despite the pandemic havoc, I would like to thank the HKTDC's efforts to strengthening our connections virtually over the past 2 years. Every one of us has surmounted a lot of challenges, both in sustaining our business and the Federation work. That's rightly the positive spirit that we should celebrate and makes me especially proud and glad to see that we are all today here. Welcome back to Hong Kong. Also a warm welcome to my association fellows who are watching this online now. You are equally important, and I would like to meet you in person at Hong Kong Forum next year. This year, earlier, we had organized 3 regional forums in physical format, including Europe Forum held in Portugal in June, the Asia Forum held in Singapore in August, and the America Caucus held in Toronto in September. They provided an important platform for association members to exchange global and regional updates, as well as latest developments about Hong Kong and HKTDC's initiatives. Challenges brought opportunities. Although the pandemic has damped global trade and investment sentiment, I would like to share with you that the Asian opportunities, such as the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the RCEP, and the Guangdong Hong Kong Macau Greater Bay Area, the GBA, are quickly arising. You are encouraged to explore and seize these plentiful business opportunities. Next page. Among the 15 signing economies of RCEP, our Federation network has covered 13 of them. If you are looking for new business growth, our cohesive network in Asia has provided you a springboard to capture the abounding business opportunities of RCEP through Hong Kong. I'm sure that many of you agree Hong Kong is an ideal gateway to mainland China, especially the Greater Bay Area, a strong economic powerhouse with a market of more than 86 million people, which is equivalent of a large global economy where the population has high spending power. The Hong Kong Forum this year has invited renowned industry experts and successful entrepreneurs to share their leadership insights and versatile experience. You will gain a better understanding of the new landscape in Asia, especially the opportunities arising from RCEP and Greater Bay Area, the overview of economic outlook of mainland China, and also the business potential arising from innovation and sustainability. Besides, the local visits and cultural tours will enable you to understand the latest development in Hong Kong from cultural, historical, and infrastructural perspectives. I wish you all an enjoyable visit. Finally, I hope you will have a rewarding forum, and I wish you all good health and every success. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Paulus. Please take your seat. Next, may I invite Ms. Margaret Fong, Executive Director of the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, to give her opening remarks. Ms. Fong, please.
Chief Executive, Dr. Lam, Hans, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 23rd Hong Kong Forum. It is a pleasure to see you all. It is our first time hosting this event in hybrid format since the pandemic hit some 3 years ago, and it is wonderful to see so many familiar and new faces in person. A warm welcome to you all. And greetings to our participants online. Thank you for joining us. We gather here today, 1 year on from last year's forum, as the world continues to face many challenges, not least the pandemic, war, and inflation. I'm pleased, however, that we as a federation have once again risen above these challenges with the amazing work we have been able to accomplish this year with everyone's support. I'm also encouraged by our network's continued growth. To that point, I'm delighted to announce that we have added a new member association to our global network. The Hong Kong Chamber of Commerce in Fujian has newly joined the Federation last July. Its addition further strengthens our mainland China presence, which now comprises 10 member associations. To add to our long-standing Best Initiative and Outstanding Membership Awards this year, we have created a new committee and a new award, and both initiatives aim at cultivating the younger generation. Firstly, a youth committee with 15 committee members representing different regions has been set up under the Federation. Through this committee, we hope to engage more youth to join the Federation and develop programs and activities targeting young entrepreneurs and Hong Kong BA young members to make full use of the Hong Kong platform. Besides, a new Young Member and Startup Award will recognize the efforts of Hong Kong business associations in developing its young membership and encourage Hong Kong BAs to nominate startups from the youth chapter for the award. The presentation ceremony for all 3 awards will take place tomorrow. I hope you are as excited as I am about these developments of our Federation. I look forward to working with you all on cultivating the younger generation to make an impact on our world today and become our future leaders. Since the last forum, the HKTDC has continued to connect Hong Kong businesses with opportunities through its global exhibitions, conferences, and matchmaking. We have adapted and transformed our offerings to put forth a robust calendar of events to support businesses in these difficult times. In July this year, we launched HKTDC's Exhibition Plus model, a multi-dimensional platform that offers access to the physical show, click-to-match virtual business matching, and our hktdc.com sourcing platform for companies to showcase their products year-round. We have also hosted many of our conferences, forums, and summits in hybrid format, combining in-person and online elements. You have probably heard about our GoGBA platform, which we launched last year to offer support online and offline, including advisory service, training, and promotional and networking activities. As part of the program, we hosted our first GoGBA Day for the international business community in September to help global businesses tap into the growing GBA market. The GBA attracts attention not only because it boasts China's highest GDP of 1.97 trillion US dollars, but it offers everything a business needs to grow. From Hong Kong's global financial hub and Guangdong's world-class manufacturing centers to the region's innovation and tech clusters, plus a market of 86 million and stepping stone to the vast mainland market. Then there is the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, that Hans has mentioned. As the world's largest trading bloc, accounting for 1/3 of the world's population and global GDP, it offers infinite opportunities. Hong Kong's accession to RCEP will only open more doors for companies to do business. Businesses the world over will pay close attention to the mainland China and RCEP markets in the years ahead to reap its benefits. And that is the focus of this year's Hong Kong Forum, with the theme, Gear Up for Worldwide Business Opportunities. The event will delve into the arising opportunities and the outlook of the mainland China, GBA, and RCEP markets to equip you with the latest insights and help you make the right business decisions. The dialogues are complemented by visits to the West Kowloon Cultural District and the Hong Kong International Airport, so you can learn also about Hong Kong's latest offerings as an art and culture, as well as an international aviation hub. We have also arranged a visit to the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks to show you the latest developments of Hong Kong's innovation and technology sectors. And with the support of the Hong Kong Tourism Board, we also offer a city tour and workshop so you can immerse yourself in our wonderful city and spend some money. Our Young Executive Program will focus on sustainability. More and more companies nowadays recognize the importance of incorporating sustainability in their decision-making. Sustainability is a business approach to creating long-term value and leaving the world in a better place for the next generation. In this session, young entrepreneurs share how they see sustainability shape the world of business. I hope you take the advantage of the next 2 days to exchange insights, reconnect, and make new acquaintances, and come away feeling inspired. And now, to formally kick off our Hong Kong Forum, I am delighted to have the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, the Honorable Mr. John Lee, as our guest of honor today, to lay out his vision for Hong Kong and the many exciting opportunities that await businesses across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming the Chief Executive to deliver his keynote address. Mr. Lee, please.
Mr. Hans Paulus, Dr. Peter Lam, ladies and gentlemen, friends of Hong Kong, good afternoon. It is a pleasure to join you today for the opening of the 23rd Hong Kong Forum, the annual flagship event of the Federation of Hong Kong Business Associations worldwide. It is great to see you back to Hong Kong for this annual global gathering. And I'm delighted to hear that attendees in person and online represent all the 36 countries and regions with a federation membership. More than long-standing business partners of Hong Kong, you are believers in Hong Kong, in the flourishing future, there for Hong Kong, for all of us. And I'm delighted to be here to tell you in person that Hong Kong is also back in business, back in the business of connecting you with opportunity, here in Hong Kong, in the mainland, China, and throughout the Asian region. Earlier this month, the world returned to Hong Kong for the Hong Kong FinTech Week and for the Global Financial Leaders Investment Summit. The summit attracted more than 200 international leaders from some 120 financial institutions, and over 40 of those institutions were represented by their group chairperson or CEO. Some stayed for the weekend, and for the best of reasons. After 3 long years, the Hong Kong Sevens was also back, featuring a riveting cocktail of world-class rugby and entertainment, on and off the pitch. The Rugby Sevens returns to Hong Kong again in March. So if you have missed it earlier this month, do come back for it next year. For the next few minutes, allow me to bring you up to date on the equally engaging sport of business, on what Hong Kong SAR government is doing to kickstart business, and what we can do for you and your business future. This has been a special year for Hong Kong, our 25th anniversary as a special administrative region of the People's Republic of China, 25 years as well for the successful implementation of the One Country, Two Systems principle. One Country, Two Systems ensure the continuation of our compelling advantages, from the rule of law and judicial independence to the free flow of capital, our free trade and investment regime, simple and low tax system, favorable business environment, sophisticated logistics and communications infrastructure, and more. These distinctive strengths have long attracted global business and investment. Together, we have built one of the world's most competitive and open economies. Let me give you a couple of examples. Hong Kong ranked 5th globally in this year's World Competitiveness Yearbook, published annually by the Swiss-based International Institute for Management Development. That standing, by the way, is up 2 places from last year's position. Canada's Fraser Institute this year once again ranked Hong Kong the world's freest economy in its annual Economic Freedom of the World report. Hong Kong remained the 3rd largest destination for foreign direct investment in the 2022 World Investment Report, published by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Underlying our long-standing prowess as a trading economy, Hong Kong has been the world's 6th largest merchandise trading economy for the past 2 years. Charting a brighter tomorrow for Hong Kong, was the theme of my policy address, which I delivered in October. I endeavor to chart a brighter tomorrow for the citizens of Hong Kong and for all our friends around the globe, including, of course, the Federation of Hong Kong Business Associations worldwide. In my policy address, I introduced a series of initiatives to raise our competitiveness, stimulate growth, and expedite Hong Kong's progress to prosperity. They include the establishment of the Hong Kong Investment Corporation. It will optimize the way we use our fiscal reserves and steer economic development by investing in strategic industries. I also detailed a number of initiatives to attract strategic enterprises and talent to Hong Kong. A 30 billion Hong Kong dollars co-investment fund, equivalent to 3.8 billion US dollars, will be set up to attract companies to Hong Kong and to invest in their businesses. We are, in particular, targeting business specializing in life and health technology, artificial intelligence and data science, financial technology, advanced manufacturing, and new energy technology. We will help these companies build a base, a home in Hong Kong, through a dedicated office for attracting strategic enterprises. The office will offer special measures and tailor-made services to the right companies. Alongside strategic companies, we are trawling for smart young professionals. Our new Talents Service Unit will be set up before year's end. A top talent pass scheme will be introduced to entice talented professionals from around the world to pursue their careers in Hong Kong. It will target working graduates from the world's top 100 universities, as well as any talent earning at least $320,000 US a year. To give you an idea about the scope of our talents drive, we plan to welcome at least 35,000 young professionals a year between 2023 and 2025, with at least a 12-month commitment to Hong Kong. Our global network of economic and trade officers, together with our mainland officers, has been enlisted to help. 17 dedicated teams will be up and chasing talent before the end of the year. I encourage all of you and your counterparts who are interested in capitalizing on our development to contact your nearest ETO or mainland office and talk about your future in Hong Kong. And let me add, they will make it as easy and as profitable for you, your family, and your company to make the move of your life. My policy address also contains wide-ranging measures to get Hong Kong and our economy back in the fast lane. There are immense opportunities for long-term growth in our country's national strategies. I'm talking about the Belt and Road Initiative, the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area, and the 14th Five-Year Plan. The plan looks to Hong Kong to develop 8 regional or international centers. That's important to note. They include our 4 traditional economic pillars: financial services, trading, transport, and the legal dispute resolution sector. For the first time, they also support our rise in 4 sectors central to success in this 21st century of opportunities: innovation and technology, aviation, intellectual property trading, and arts and culture. In short, whatever your business or investment interests, whatever your future, Hong Kong has it covered. It helps and enormously that we have the backing, the full support of our country, the world's second largest economy, in pursuit of these 8 wide-ranging sectors. Then there's the Greater Bay Area, which I believe is particularly well-positioned for overseas companies. As the GBA continues to develop and continues to integrate economically and otherwise, Hong Kong's domestic market will soar from some 7 million to more than 86 million consumers. The GBA's GDP, let me add, exceeds 1.9 trillion US dollars, and it is just getting going. To ensure Hong Kong's pivotal role in the Greater Bay Area, as well as the Belt and Road and other national initiatives, I announced the establishment of a steering group on integration into national development in my policy address. We are creating concrete plans to boost the flow of people, goods, capital, and information within the GBA. Our Guangdong Economic and Trade Office is setting up a dedicated promotion center to support Hong Kong's businesses and people in the Greater Bay Area. The Hong Kong Trade Development Council will soon extend its popular Go GBA Business Support Centers to all 9 mainland cities in the Greater Bay Area. Beyond the Greater Bay Area, beyond our country, there's a world of opportunities for Hong Kong companies and the companies that work with us. Thanks to the one country, two systems principle, we are productively pursuing these opportunities. Today, we have signed 8 free trade agreements with 20 economies, as well as 20 investment agreements with 31 economies. Our FTAs include the ASEAN-Hong Kong-China Free Trade Agreement and related investment agreement. Those 2 FTAs entered into full force a year ago in February, expanding our strong economic, trade, and investment ties with the 10 member states of ASEAN. I was in Thailand this month for the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting. It was my first trip abroad, my first of many, I can assure you, and it was a welcome opportunity to tell APEC's other 20 member economies that Hong Kong is back in business. An opportunity, too, to speak with heads of ASEAN countries about the progress of our FTAs. I also discussed Hong Kong's early accession to the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP. The world's largest free trade agreement entered into force in January, and it is clearly a milestone in regional economic integration. Hong Kong will add significant value to RCEP, given our status as a leading international financial center, our deepening economic integration with the mainland, and our role as the business bridge between the mainland and the world, RCEP members very much included. All 15 RCEP members, by the way, are key trading partners of Hong Kong, accounting for more than 70% of our merchandise trade last year. In 2020, they represented about 50% of our total trade in services and our investments. It helps, too, that we have already concluded FTAs with 13 of the 15 RCEP members, and that our motherland is among the founding members. Hong Kong, in short, has good reason to expect early accession to RCEP. We have submitted a formal bid to join, and I look forward to discussions beginning in earnest in the coming year. Our accession to RCEP can only strengthen business ties among Hong Kong, the GBA, and other RCEP members. In 2023, we plan to hold or participate in some 60 RCEP-related events and meetings. Our site is not limited to this side of the Pacific. We already have an FTA with Chile. Next month, we will launch FTA negotiations with Peru, another important Latin American trading partner. We are also expanding our Middle East network, riding on the establishment last year of our Economic and Trade Office in Dubai. Just over a month ago, the Financial Secretary was in Saudi Arabia meeting with senior business leaders and government officials. Beyond business per se, there is the business of pleasure, of arts and culture, and entertainment. The Hong Kong SAR government is putting a high priority on these as well. In my policy address, I announced the establishment of a mega arts and cultural events fund. It will, among other things, subsidize the staging of 4 large-scale international arts and cultural events a year, attracting an audience of no less than 100,000. In addition, we will launch a GBA Culture and Arts Festival in 2024, along with an annual Hong Kong Week and Pop Culture Festival and a Chinese Opera Festival. A lot of these events will certainly be held in our dedicated world-class venues in the West Kowloon Cultural District. West Kowloon's rise as one of the world's largest arts and cultural developments continues. In July, the Hong Kong Palace Museum, featuring more than 900 dazzling artifacts from Beijing's Palace Museum, opened. If you need more tempting reason to look to Hong Kong for your future, I know where to find and where to show you the best dim sum. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you all to go about and tell the world the good stories of Hong Kong. Give your business partners and friends a true testimony of how vibrant and prosperous Hong Kong is and will continue to be. My officials and I will join you on this journey and lead Hong Kong delegations to visit international and developing markets in the coming years. My thanks to the Federation and the Trade Development Council for organizing this year's Hong Kong Forum. I'm sure you will enjoy every minute of it, and I wish each and every one of you the best of business in the new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Please remain on stage and take a seat. May I now invite Ms. Margaret Fong, Executive Director of the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, to come on stage again and moderate the upcoming Q&A session for us. Ms. Fong, please. If you wish to pose any questions to our speakers, please feel free to submit your questions by scanning the QR code in front of you or via the Q&A box on the virtual platform. Ms. Fong, may I now pass the time to you?
Thank you, Siyi. Thank you for most inspiring and sharing. And also, there are so many exciting initiatives that I hope to discuss in more detail with you in the next 20 minutes or so. If I may first start with a question that I think everyone will be thinking about. At the moment, I think the pandemic, of course, is still creating havoc to the world economy. And of course, for the rest of the world, inflation and also energy prices are particularly worrying. We are, in a way, more blessed in Hong Kong in that we did not suffer from the similar price hikes that are seen around the world. But from your perspective, in the short and medium term, how do you see the outlook of Hong Kong and the region? And what would be your message to our businesses around the world if they are looking for opportunities in Hong Kong?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, Margaret, and thank you, Federation, again, for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. Yes, Hong Kong is an open economy. In a way, we are relatively small compared to countries. So we are subject to all the strong winds that affect the world. Yes, inflation is getting high. In some countries, it gets to between 7 to even 10%. The overall economy doesn't seem to be looking good. And also, there are some disruptions to supply chain. Yes, the overall global situation is bringing challenges. Then Hong Kong, of course, being an open economy, is facing all these challenges. But there are some positive factors that I think we are relatively in a better position compared to other economies. Well, first of all, as you have described, we have just very recently started to relax a lot of restrictions. So we are getting connected to the world since July, and this is adding to the economy. What you can see is societies, since the relaxation of a lot of the measures, a lot of people are happier, and a lot of activities are being organized, and one of this very successful forum is an example, right? And I have also in my speech explained the activities that have been starting and are picking up speed. So the connectivity with the world, which is a new factor, brings in very positive elements to Hong Kong, which helps the economy. The second thing is, the government has been increasing our investment. We have a lot of construction projects, infrastructure projects, and our Legislative Council is very efficient and very effective in allowing all these projects to proceed. Then, of course, the private investment has dropped, so overall, we still have some problem in that area. But the good news is, first of all, employment rate is at a very good stage. In fact, the unemployment rate has dropped since it has reached the top. And the wage of the workforce actually has increased, which is almost double the rates of inflation in Hong Kong. So these are the positive signs. And the other positive signs are what I have described, our connectivity with the markets in the mainland. First of all, a lot of policies that have been rolled out by the mainland's governments of the different provinces have been creating a lot of opportunities for us, particularly the GBA, as you have described. And the other thing is, we are developing Hong Kong, in addition to the traditional strengths, as I have described, 4 new areas, which is INT, arts and culture, aviation hub, and also intellectual property trading. You can see these are all the drivers for growth in future, in the coming years. INT in particular. In fact, our INT strengths have been quite good. We have been rated number 2 in our competitive in respect of cluster. Cluster meaning Hong Kong plus Shenzhen. We rank number 2 in our competitiveness. Why I mention this? Because I am strengthening one relatively weak link in the whole ecology of IT. We have been very good on basic research, and in fact, 70% of our research products have been rated as excellent, international standard. We have very strong manufacturing ability in the GBA. Marketization is easy there. But the middle part, which is the midstream, is the part of the ecology I want to strengthen. And I'm introducing a lot of measures to ensure that this part will become strong. The investment fund is one factor which will ensure that we will be inviting strategic companies to start to develop in Hong Kong, so we build up the critical mass. The second thing is, in the policy address, I've introduced a new measure. In other words, a 10 billion fund. 100 億 means 10 billion, yeah, 10 billion fund to help building 100, at least 100 research team. And the intention is that this team will have to be able to produce products that will be marketable, that will become prototypes and then marketable in Hong Kong, in the mainland. So once we have built this complete ecology chain, then the INT advantage of Hong Kong will be very great. Because we have also worked with the Shenzhen to build what we call a joint park of IT in a neighboring area, bordering Shenzhen and bordering Hong Kong. So adding together, we will be very strong in that regard. So yes, economically, there are challenges, but there are very many positive elements that is making us relatively resilient.
Excellent. Well, I think we are all very encouraged to hear about the many opportunities that are out there. If I may just follow on from what you have shared with us, the Northern Metropolis is a new development area that has been also drawing a lot of attention from our international partners because it presents a lot of opportunities across many sectors, many of which, Chief Executive, you have just mentioned. When do you expect to see more of the concrete progress happening so that international businesses will be able to take part physically, whether in terms of the designing of it or the planning of it or actual construction of it across many different areas?
Well, first of all, the first building of the dual park I've mentioned will come into place in 2 years' time. So that is the first part. Interestingly, when you mention Northern Metropolis, which is the new engine for Hong Kong's growth, because it represents 1/3 of our area, bordering Shenzhen, and also 1/3 of our population, which figure-wise is very similar to RCEP, right? Which represent also 1/3 of the world economy and 1/3 of the population. So there are similarities in that. How does that 1/3 mean to us? Because this is an area where we will be building as an INT center, as an area where there will be good balance of life and work. There will be good quality of life with good ecology. So it will be an area of both high-end industries and also high-end living. It will also allow us to create culture and art centers. There will be iconic buildings of different type. Because this is new, a lot of the designed structures will be for the purpose of ensuring that we will be competitive. That means the 4 new areas of strengths that we will develop will be strategically located in that area. This is a new growth. In fact, there will be another new growth is we'll be building an artificial island, which is just next to Lantau. In other words, for visitors, it will be very near to our Hong Kong Island. So that means we'll again expand the central commercial district. So these 2 engines together will create a lot of extra strengths.
Thank you, Chief Executive. I have some questions coming in, and in a way, it is related to what we have been discussing. There are many opportunities, and Hong Kong has always positioned itself as the gateway, not just into the GBA or for the commercial hub for RCEP or access into mainland China, but there are still quite a lot of perhaps misunderstanding of what the quarantine requirements are, whether Hong Kong is really back in business and so on. Even though the fact that we have so many of our members from around the world here today actually bear testament that, yes, Hong Kong is open and we welcome you back. But if I was just sitting across the world and not exactly understanding what is happening here, what would be your message to them, Chief Executive, in terms of how Hong Kong continues to be the ideal gateway and where we see the continued lifting of the restrictions to make Hong Kong be still the most premier place to enter our part of the world?
Well, our quarantine requirement is 0 plus nothing, right? Really, it's difficult to describe.
Yes.
But what does that 0 mean? That 0 means you actually can do whatever you like during the quarantine period, other than the fact that you can't join activities that will involve mask-off elements. So anything that doesn't involve mask-off, in other words, where you can, whatever you do, you just keep your mask on. That means you almost can go to all these places. So that is a simple way to understand our quarantine requirement. So yes, for the first 3 days, because going to a restaurant, you need to eat, and of course, you need to take off the mask, so you can't go there. You need 3 days to ensure that you finish that requirement. But for activities such as visiting conferences, joining conferences like this, going to exhibitions, going to, say, museum, visiting the theme park, where you keep your mask on, theoretically, you start there from day one. That's what we call quarantine. And the reason why we need to ensure that mask-off activities are controlled is, well, first of all, we still have a high number of infected cases. We have two, what we regard as weak groups we need to take care of, is the very old and the very young. And they are very vulnerable to attack by the COVID. And the vaccination rate for them is low, is not satisfactory. This is peculiar to Hong Kong. Why? Because Hong Kong is #1 city in regard to lifespan. We are the city with the longest lifespan. That means relatively, we have more aged people, more elderly people than any city in the world. That is why we have this group of people we need to take care of. And in fact, according to our analysis, those who did unfortunately pass away, most of them were elderly people. That is why, while being the city of the longest lifespan is a blessing, it is a strong risk when we come to the question of COVID. So this is peculiar. This is not something probably your city will come across. And the second thing is, unfortunately, Hong Kong is not just densely populated. We have 200,000 people living in what we call subdivided flats. In other words, it is a flat for maybe a family of 4, but somehow they subdivided it into 4 families. So you can see how squeezed they are. And so transmission rate is very high relative to other places. So these are the unique factors which make me design measures while trying to relax as much as possible. I have to have regard these strong, vulnerable groups that I need to take care of. But one thing I have been making very clear to everybody, the direction is very clear, and it is what I want, one way. The direction of reducing restrictions as much as possible, orderly, progressively, and this is what I have been doing. And that is why we changed the policy of centralized quarantine, which was in practice for over 2 years, since my assumption of office, to now you basically can go out during the 3 days to wherever you like, provided it is not related to mask-off activities. So it is that centralized quarantine to this degree of relaxation. We will be making more relaxation. Yes, we will. But I have to do it orderly, progressively, taking into account of the trend, the figures, and also potential new uncertainties as a result of the winter surge or new variants. But the direction is clear, and I am aiming to do it one way so that there will be no confusion. And I hope I have cleared that confusion that in fact, you are very free to do whatever you like, except just those 3 days of probably can't go to a bar to drink or a restaurant to eat. But we will also make special arrangements for special events. The Rugby Sevens, which I have mentioned to you, and also activities which we think we need to make special arrangements, particularly for sporting events, which will involve mask-off activities. We will introduce some measures while allowing you to do that, but also we control the risk so that activities can go on, but the risk of the COVID damaging Hong Kong, the vulnerable group, will be under control.
Thank you. See, I think you made it very clear that it is you are aiming for a further relaxation, and it will only just go towards that direction. It will only get better, and I think everyone here will be looking forward to the day when we will have all the restrictions lifted.
And I've mentioned the 7th in March. I hope you will come and see the Rugby Sevens yourself. And at that time, then probably you will be in a very different environment as well.
This is very encouraging, and we will definitely want to see all of you back for the 7th March, end of March. So please mark your diary. And if I may, just the last question, Chief Executive. I see that there are many who are very excited about opportunities of the GBA, and they were asking one question. Do you see how the flow of people will be further facilitated, whether there will be the opportunity where travel within all of GBA will be one day be visa-free?
That will be my long-term goal, all right? I want to make the long-term short, all right? And that is also my goal. My goal is to make that aim. The second is make that goal as soon as possible. But of course, first of all, we have to be sure that the COVID situation allows normal travel. My idea is to start it from small. I have talked about the dual park that we will be creating in the area bordering Shenzhen, where they will have the park in Shenzhen, we'll have a park in what we call Hetao. And this is a special area where I can start my new idea. My new idea is for those who work in this dual park, then the flow of people should be as simple as ABC. I remember the chairman of the airport authority had made mention of EU people being free flow without really border restriction. My idea is to first of all try to make this dual park to be a very similar model, where those who work there will be able to go across without real checking. And that easily can be done, provided we have overcome some, say, registration process so that you would like to join this scheme, and we will, of course, be able to do some pre-checking, which indicates that, well, a particular person should be free to go. And once we've got that with new technology, then I think getting across that theoretical boundary will be nothing, because there will automatically be record of movements of those who have joined the scheme. So within the park, we have already, if implemented, overcome the so-called boundary. If it works, then the model can be copied to other places. And if it works in other places, the model can be expanded. But then, of course, I have to be able to work out some agreements with the many authorities. But that is the long-term goal. And my goal is to make that long-term short.
Excellent. So thank you very much, Chief Executive. We all know that the Chief Executive put a lot of emphasis on getting results and getting them fast. So with that, please join me in thanking the Chief Executive for his sharing and for spending time with us today.
My last word is Hong Kong is a place where you will enjoy coming to. It's vibrant, it's full of all sorts of fun. There will be entertainment. We have good country parks. People, I believe you come across, are very nice. We have good food. And most importantly, we have good opportunities. This is the place where if you don't come, then probably you will fall into the category of distinguishing who are the better and wiser business-minded person and who are not. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lee and Ms. Fong. Please remain on stage, and we will now proceed to the group photo session. On this occasion, may we invite Dr. Peter Lam, Chairman of the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, to come on stage for a group photo. Thank you. Would all guests please remain on stage? May I also invite the 4 Federation's office holders to join us for another photo. They include Mr. Hans Paulus, Chairman of the Federations of Hong Kong Business Associations Worldwide, Ms. Alexandria Sham, Vice Chairman, Mr. Bernardo Mendia, Honorary Secretary, as well as Mr. Dennis Xu, Immediate Past Chairman of the Federations of Hong Kong Business Associations Worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Executive has to be excused due to other engagement. Thank you, Mr. Lee, again for joining us today. Would all other guests on stage please take your seats? Coming up next, we'll have our main plenary session on Asia Opportunities for Business, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, and Greater Bay Area Development in 5 minutes. A virtual networking session will also be held after speaker's presentation via the online platform. Please stay tuned.